Evening.
Good evening, good evening. We're live. Hi, gents.
Evening, chaps. How's it going?
Hey, yeah,
Evening,
really
Paul.
good.
How's it going, mate?
Yeah, really good. You?
Okay. Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. Not bad.
Cool.
To be
Good
fair.
evening, everyone is in the stream, and all those that have put comments. We'll go through those in a minute, and we'll get on to the subject of what you don't need in a reef tank, which I'm hoping will there'll be some difference of opinion, as there usually are on things between ourselves and also the comments as well. Absolutely. The more the better. But there we go. So we have someone missing, which is obviously Jay. Now, Jay is supposed to be here, but he's having camera issues. So he messaged earlier on for some help. I'm not too sure he got help and abuse. I think it's a fine line between the two. He hasn't said he's not joining, which I mean, I'm assuming then he is going to join, but he's not with us. It could be camera, it could be he's having his tea, or it could be he's putting the shopping away. You never know with Jay. So hopefully he will join shortly.
Struggling to decide what colour leggings he's wearing, Paul.
Well, there's that. Or needs a topper on his tan, maybe. He said he's been busy this week, which I can't believe. So maybe he's been busy tanning. Who knows? We'll see. So hopefully he will join us. He hasn't messaged to say he hasn't. I'm just kind of looking at the chat, but there we go. So I can see, Tom, before we go through the hellos, you got loads more fish there. That looks fantastic.
We have. Everybody's in, sound and well. Yeah, Coris Rasser's asleep now. She's got a very strange sleep pattern. She seems to go to bed about 4:30 in the afternoon. But it was a relief. It's always a relief when you put a wrasse in the tank. It disappears sometimes. A couple of hours, couple of days, couple of weeks. I've had it at one point, and she was only in there for 3 days and came out and she's feeding. So yeah, bit of a telltale sign where she sleeps, because obviously a little bit of algae, a bit of an ugly stage at the minute. Put the light on, obviously, because we're on tonight. But other than that, I've only got the blues on. But fortunately, she's showing me where she sleeps, because she's moved the sand and the gravel, etc. So obviously, she's turning it over. You can see it's clean underneath, so you know exactly where she is. So when it comes to cleaning it in a couple of weeks' time, I'll make sure I don't disturb her. But yeah, 20 chromis, yellow tang, purple tang, convict tang. Who else went in there? Dragonettes. Everybody's getting on. And to be fair, we did it it was a bit of luck. And the more I thought about it, it made sense. We put the chromis in to basically create a bit of a diversion in terms of what was happening in the tank, because obviously quite a lot in one go. So the orange shoulder that was settled, the copper band and the fox face. And the sail fin, they didn't know what the hell was going on when I put the chromis in. So literally sort of 20 minutes, half an hour later, everybody else went in, and it created a good diversion, which in hindsight made a lot of sense. The last minute decision, but I thought, rather than putting one tang in at a time and then everybody starts attacking it, let's just create a diversion and put everybody in at the same time. But chromis went in first, and I think I think that's the best way, especially if you got the dominant fish. Is he here? I need to get my sunglasses out.
Mate, the tanning bed went over. That's what it was. I forgot what time it was. I put 12 minutes on it, and it just I ran out of time. I heard the live stream, the notification for the live stream. I heard that pinging. I was like, "What?" No, I had camera issues. So I'm a bit like Stiata with the computer, just like.
Oh, okay.
Useless.
Hey, you're going to get a name like me, my mate, soon. You know what they all say about me, don't you?
Hey, can you see me?
Hey,
can you see me?
There, mate.
Can you see me?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Not can you see me? Can you see me? Yeah, can you see me?
Nice one. It's good to be on. It's good to be on a Friday.
It's nice that you're here, mate. It's nice that you're here.
Mate, I haven't seen you for ages either. Long time. No, because you were off for like 3 weeks, I think, and then I wasn't here last week.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, been a long time. Yeah, it has been, mate. It's nice to see all four of us on here.
Yeah, sorry. Apologies, anybody who's watching. Sorry, I'm a bit late. It's just messing about with my camera.
Yeah. Right, as you rudely interrupted.
Yeah, sorry I interrupted. I didn't expect it to come on like that though.
No, it's wrong way. That Tom was talking about his fish. He's got no more fish in now. and then we're going to do the intros in a minute. So you haven't missed the intros. So lots of fish in there. I think just kind of before we move on, wrasse, I always get a bit nervous, like you, when I put a wrasse in for the first time, because you never know if you're going to see it again. Those first few days are, you know, either survives, and if it comes out, you're usually okay then for a long time, or not. It's only happened to me once where I never saw the wrasse again. But most of the time I've been fine. So that's always the concern, isn't it? What I've heard, they don't travel usually very well, and so they can get their fins can get their noses can get damaged and stuff because they're constantly trying to bury themselves, aren't they? Because when they're out of fear, they'll dive bomb into the sand, and of course they can't do that when they're traveling and other stuff like that. So they sometimes they bounce around. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's
it must be quite stressful for a wrasse, like you say, in transport, because they like to hide, don't they? And they can't. Yeah. There's nowhere to hide from, bless them. So I can see it being quite a stressful move. Why has Tom got a wrasse?
Yeah, I've got a Corris wrasse. Yeah,
Corris wrasse. I don't know what that looks like, to be honest.
Well, the juvenile ones are the orange and white stripes, a bit like a clownfish. As soon as they get older, then they change colour.
What, crap or better?
better. Not like you.
No, well, not most things don't get better looking with age, do they? Jesus, yeah, But which one is it? The juvenile? Oh, I forget which one it is. The black and white stripe one that looks amazing.
The Emperor Angel.
Yeah. The Emperor.
Yeah, and then it just ruins itself. What's going on with that?
It ruins itself.
A beautiful fish that is.
Until it grows up.
Until it grows up, and then you know what? That's the one when when I first got into hobby and I saw like the fish, I was like, oh, I've got to get one of them. That looks amazing. It's one of my favourite looking fish. And then I learned that it changed. I was like, but quite a few fish change. I think. Like I bought some mocha clowns, a bit like what you were saying, Tom. Like they were proper bright orange with a bit of like dark shading, mate. And now they're completely black and white. I'm like, I didn't buy black and white ones.
But it's something like you used to be called Jane, isn't it? And now,
now I'm called all sorts. I won't tell you what
we've all got a past, Jay. I won't
tell you what the year 9's called me. Jesus. Yeah.
No, the biggest relief for the wrasse, to be fair, the biggest relief was the substrate. Because obviously I've gone for a bigger, I've not gone for your normal sand. I went for a bigger substrate. So I was a little bit. Have I gone a little bit too big? Is the wrasse sort of going to be like, really? You expect to sleep in that? But yeah, no hesitation, straight in. So that's a relief. So yeah,
you've got big gravel, haven't you? You've got thick gravel.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like benching to get out of there, isn't it? Basically, it's going to be strong. It's going to be strong. It's going to be fit and strong out. No, I'm not taking the mick. It's going to have a bit of power about it to get out of the sand.
It's not under a rock.
Yeah.
Effectively, is it coral or it's coral yours? Isn't it? Dead coral.
No, yes and no. It looks like calcium reactor media. To be fair,
calcium reactor media.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be happy, mate. Your fish do look, happy. They're swimming about a lot, aren't they? Active.
Well, I hope so. If they weren't, I'd be worried.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, they're really active now at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a lot of them. You've got the same as Steve. He's got them. Is it the chromis you've got put in? Like a school of chromis.
Yeah, there's 22 chromis have gone in together. Yeah. Yeah.
They look cool. They do. Are they not? They're not in one school there, though. They're like separate.
No, they're still going through. I've had to put a little bit more rock in. You probably see
that. A bit more training.
A little bit.
In the centre.
In the centre, because there was a bit of an issue the first couple of nights that there wasn't enough sort of, I don't know, rooms in the inn or hotel, whatever you want to call it.
Enough bedrooms.
Enough bedrooms. Yeah, thank you. And it was the missus that said you need something there. And unfortunately, I'd already got that from the build. I just didn't put it in originally, and I sort of felt like I had to because the chromis were the ones that were having an issue with each other. And I've had a pair that have started laying eggs already, and we're only on a week tomorrow. So there's a lot of marking of territory, shall we call it, with the chromis. So yeah, there's that's been a relief because all the other fish have settled. I was shocked because I thought the purple tang was going to give a couple of other fish a bit of grief. The convict was a bit of a twat to start with, I'll be honest, but he's calmed down now. Fortunately, again, a bit of luck. He just so happens to be the smallest tang, so got a little bit of man syndrome, small man syndrome, I suppose. But the orange shoulders soon put him into his place. So yeah, he's working quite well, to be fair. And I think having one larger fish than the rest of them that's dominant, it sets the tone for the rest of the tank, which has been good. But,
I think that's probably easier, isn't it? If you've got like a clearly dominant alpha fish, it sorts itself out quite quickly, I bet. Whereas if you've got quite a lot that are all similar sizes or whatever, then you're going to have ongoing aggression, aren't you? Things like that, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks cool. You need to train them up a bit better than that, though, because they're all over the gaff. Like they're not schooling. You've got the only chromas that don't school by the looks of it. They're all just doing what they want.
Well, they're going in the shade, Jay, because you're scaring them with your tongue.
They were all moving as 20 before you came on from left.
I bet they were. Yeah, I bet it was like the red arrows before I got on, and now it's just an absolute. I don't want to swear, but just all over the gaff, aren't they? Look at them.
Stupid.
Next week, Tom. Next week, I want them all like.
All right, okay, synchronized swimming
like that.
I'll get him to spell your name. I'll get him to spell your name out as they're swimming.
Absolutely.
Do that. It's only 3 letters. Right.
I'd love to have a tank with that many fish in. Are you a fish man or a coral man, Tom? Are you a bit of a fish man?
I'm a coral man. I'm a coral man, but I'd like I said to you a while ago, these apart from the recent introduction of a few more chromis, I've had these fish in these systems for years, and if it weren't for how much it costs to run a tank these days, they'd probably stay where they were. But we shut the fish house down, and I didn't want to get rid of the fish. So, as you know, I've done it in stages, and touch wood so far, everything's gone according to plan. All right, we had white spot for a week, but we're over that. Everybody's healthy, and fingers crossed.
Copper band's doing well, is it?
Clive's doing well. Clive's doing well.
Yeah,
Clive's doing well. Yeah, he's doing well. You'll see him eventually.
He normally knocks around. I like seeing him every Friday, but I haven't seen him today.
He's there.
He's there.
He's there. He is. Yeah.
And the purples.
He's a legend. He is. I like him.
So whilst Jay is looking at the fish, because we'll lose him for the next 2 hours now.
Well,
I'm going to do the intro.
Steve, have you shut your tank down, Steve? What's going on? I can't see your tank, mate.
Nearly, yeah. It's over there, mate.
Fucking hell, energy saving.
Yeah, times are hard, mate.
Why do you put it like? I mean, we don't have our tanks lit up like this normally, but for a live stream, we make the effort, Steve. What's going on?
But our shot list, they still won't either did that, mate. You know what I mean? I could do. Jay, but I'm sat here. Nobody can see the tank, can you?
You just rather look at your tank. Your tank's beautiful. Rather than looking at you all the time, look at your tank.
The guy's just worked how many hours. You do what you want, and then you're giving him grief.
Money wide break. No, I'm not. No, it's good to
love him, really. I love him, really. You know what I mean? You know what it is? It's small man syndrome. That's all it is.
I
thought I was quite tall, but then when I met up with all you're all like 6'5", and I'm like, what's going on here? You're like crazy tall, you are. How tall are you, Tom?
5'11".
Oh yeah, so you're still taller than me, then you.
Is that sunbed shrinking you like a crisp packet?
Shrinking me, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you. Oh, sorry for doing the rest.
Not the first time, and probably not the last time. Right. So, Jay, I'm going to do the intros. You look at the fish.
Yeah,
but we don't want a commentary. No commentary. Oh, okay, right. Who is first in the house? We've got Just Your Average Sim Racer. Good evening to you.
Nice.
Racing chair, what it looks of it. Johnny Boy's in the house with his copper band. And we got Riggsy 69. Good evening. Moving on, we got Cotty's Reef. So good evening to you. Gids is knocking around as well. Good evening to you. Techers is in the house. Are you Mickey Boy? Good evening. UKM 120.
Awesome.
We'll get our friend Only Finn in the house.
Nice one, James. Good to see you, mate.
Stuart Pinnell is around. Here we are all again. Evening, Reefers. Yeah, good evening to you. Riggsy's got his nephew Jay watching with him tonight.
Oh, wow.
Give him a shout. Hiya, Jay.
Shout out to Jay.
Thanks for watching.
Jay.
Enjoy the bit of Reefing chat on a Friday night. Get yourself a tank. I don't know if he's got a tank, but if you haven't, get yourself a tank.
Absolutely.
No.
Hi, Howard.
Absolutely.
Liking the frog. Good evening to you. Haven't seen you for ages. Yeah, good to see you in the
Yeah,
house.
Howard. Yeah, good to see you.
And then we've got Tony. Hi, guys. Just introduced new coral to my tank. I'm late. Cheers. Excellent.
Yeah, what have you bought, Tony? What have you put in? What's on the? What's the latest
absolutely.
edition?
We'll find out.
Yeah,
And
share it.
I'm not watching the football. No, the football's.
Is it on? West Ham on?
Yeah.
No, it's England, isn't it?
It's only Australia, isn't it? Against Australia.
Yeah,
It
not
is.
fussed.
Oh, is it England? Is it? Oh, I hate international.
Yeah.
Hate it.
It's in the way of proper football, but there we go. Anyway, hiya, Julie. Good evening to you.
Hey, Julie.
Marek.
Nice one, man.
Rennie's Reef. Hiya. Good evening to you.
Reef.
And Haley Bar. Good evening to
Yes.
you.
Haley.
Winning Haley.
We have
Evening.
got the economical reefer. What you don't need a reef tank. What you don't need in a reef tank.
Reef tank.
Hands.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
That is a good one.
Absolutely.
Hi, Darren. Yeah, that's not on my list actually, but yeah, it's a good one.
I haven't got a list there.
And then we got Drippy Evening Reef Rats. I'm in my it's too much information. I'm in my pants and ready for it. I'll chuck him out.
He's had a very nice frag this week. He needs to share it. See if he can send a photo
He's
in.
got an
Very nice
amazing
frag.
coral collection.
Very
Nice.
nice.
Really nice coral collection.
Yeah.
But he can put some clothes on whilst he's watching us. That'll be good. He's going to put me on. It's not that kind of show.
Absolutely. It's not only pence, is it?
Only pants. Yeah, that's what he is.
Hi, Haley. Good evening to you. And we've got Sky Marine. Do love that angelfish there.
It's awesome.
Right, let's see who else we've got. We've got lots of comments. Won't go through those. Most of them are drippies, so they, we have to censor them.
In case there's anybody under 18 watching.
Yeah, we don't know how old the other Jay is, do we? Who's watching the nephew?
Well, that's it. Yeah, well, yeah.
Exactly, have to be careful.
Mm.
UK Reef Bro, good evening to you. And then last of these is LS10 Works. First chance I've had to catch a live stream. So good evening to you. I don't recognise that name.
Good evening.
And thank you for watching. And as John says, if you could strike the like, that would be much appreciated.
Mm. All good for the algorithm.
Yes, absolutely. And it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Nice. So, Jay, as we haven't seen you for a couple of weeks, what's going on in your tank?
Nothing really. I mean, this week's been a really quiet one. I haven't touched the tank. I had to scrub the glass before I came on here because it was that dirty. I was like, I'm a bit ashamed here. Just been so busy at work. The only thing I've actually had, so OnlyFins is in the chat. He came round to my house at OnlyFins. And he was the one that bought one of my torch corals. So he came round last Saturday. I could catch up. It's always nice to have another fellow reefer to have a chat with over your tank, because not most people that come to our house aren't interested, but he was interested. We had to sit down, had a chat, and he took the Holy Grail, the double head Holy Grail, and the Dragon Soul. Nice. As far as I know, mate, it's going well, but let us know in the chat.
Let him have a go at your sunbed.
No, I didn't. That one switched on.
I've just thought he needs a little green wig, and then there can be an Uncle Humphrey next Wonka film.
Mate, I don't know why you're taking it. Like, you've actually got a sunbed, because I've seen it on your Instagram. You had all the bulbs out. You're like, I need to get this on my tank so I can boil the water on it. So I can boil the water on it like you did last time.
Oh, yeah.
Bloody whistling kettle, your marine tank.
Let's not go there, thank you.
Pick
on somebody else.
No, you had to go at me about the sunbed.
Because somebody your own size.
What? There isn't anybody my size. Maybe Jay's my size. I hope he is. Don't pick on him. No one might.
How many frags you got left then, Jay? This is your plan.
Why, you want a bit?
Not really, no. Just give you a chance to plug your frags.
So I've actually got one available now that hasn't gone.
Is that it?
One Hellfire, yeah. One Hellfire. So if anybody's interested, lives near Derby.
How many did you have? How many did you have? Did you cut, Jay?
7.
Oh wow,
that's not bad. Then one left.
Well, one of them I've got that big one now. I've got to take to Christian at Signature Frags. He's got that one, so he's going to grow. Right. He'll grow that one out. Yeah, but I've got the Hellfire here. Look, it looks really nice. Purple, green tip, gold. Yeah, it's nice with a green base on it. It's nice.
Yeah.
I'll try and take another picture of it the weekend. But yeah, if you live near Derby, you want a torch coral, hit me up in the comments. Or we can have a live now. Car boot, someone called it.
There you go. Pepsi Max included in the purchase as well. Oh, you're being generous, Jay.
Yeah, I did give it. Yeah. Pepsi Max. Well, that was that was my wife, and I was like, "Oh bloody hell! Don't give all my gear away, Jesus." You know, she was giving it away. I'm like, I don't want to keep him too long. He'll be here all afternoon because we had the football on as well when he came. Yeah. Best thing about James is his missus is a Derby fan. That's a good thing.
That's fair play.
Derby fan, so we got on really well. But he's got the torch corals. I hope he's enjoying them and stuff. And yeah, he's
absolutely
appreciate it. It's good to catch up with people.
Cool. And Tony put in mushroom, clove polyp, and a favia. So nice mix.
Nice. I do like them clove polyps. Are they controllable? Them clove polyps. They do look really nice. Or do they get a bit giddy? I mean, they can go mad a bit, clove polyps, and they can be quite hard to kill.
Yeah. They're like mushrooms.
Right.
Yeah.
But mushrooms are nice. Yeah,
mushrooms are crazy. You just squirt up wherever, don't they? You put one, you place one in the left-hand side, and 6 months later, you'll have about 10 on your right-hand side. They just pop up anywhere.
They detach.
Just detach and release. Oh, and I've got them everywhere, mate, on rocks where I'm like, how the hell are they stuck there? There's mushrooms. They're all over the show. Absolutely all over the show. But they are nice. Bring a bit of colour to the tank, to be fair. Mushrooms.
Yeah, I love a mushroom. Yeah. It's the Florida ones I can't keep. I like them. They're my favourite ones, and I can't keep them for some reason. They just
the Recordias. Recordias.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Oh, they're nice, then.
They're really nice.
The orange ones.
Yeah. The orange ones,
Redactors are good as well. They're a nice mushroom.
Redactors, yeah. I've got a Redactors one, but it's just orange. It's a bit boring.
You get the Superman ones, can't you? Which are red and blue. They're pretty nice ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's always nice having some new corals though on a Friday. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Friday treat, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right. Scott says, Drippy, looks like Paul censored me, not you. No shout outs. And I said hello to you earlier on, Scott.
God, yeah, nice one, Scott.
You obviously missed it. And then please buy James Craig, guys. He's going towards
James. Who's James? Is that James?
It's you.
Is he taking the mic? Liver transplant. It's this frigging light here, I'm telling you. It's this light here, look.
You're not denying it, Jay.
Look how orange you look now, look.
If you turn it off, is there no light? Turn it off.
Turn it off.
The light. Is it all right, yeah. No. Yeah, put it back on.
You sure, Steve?
Make do with you. Yeah. Is it on the low setting, that?
No. Look, that's worse.
Jesus, don't put it up. Jeez. Yeah,
then there's that one, then there's that one.
That's all right. That one's all right.
That's all right.
Right.
That's that, Jay.
Thanks, mate. Yeah. If you want a professional stream, there's one on at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night. Watch that. I ain't professional here, mate. I've got a dodgy light that's about 10 quid. I've got a camera that don't work all the time. But I'm here and I'm enjoying myself. So
good.
I tell you what, we'll do a GoFundMe page at the bottom.
GoFundMe. GoFund Jay.
I want to go to the Maldives
page.
And a question of funding. How's the funding for the new tank?
It's limited at the moment. I've got a few bits in the coffers now from the torch corals, but I've got a couple of things. I've got a couple of things in line, like Steve has. He doesn't tell his secrets.
Ooh,
does he?
secrets.
I've got two things in line. One of them might play out. I don't know, but we'll see how we get on.
Yeah. So I will give you a sneak thing on my next video on Sunday, which goes out. It tells you exactly my plans for what I'm going to be doing, mate. So tune in and watch that. It'll tell you what my plans are. what's going to be happening. One of them's going to be happening, so it depends on which one.
And I reckon
one of them's going to happen.
It'll be 10 minutes of going, oh, what should we do? What should we actually do? Keep watching till the end. Keep watching to the end. I'll tell you the last 20 seconds.
5 hours later.
Yeah.
5 hours later, smash the video. 10 adverts, made a load of money.
No, it's only 14 minutes long, mate. So it's not that long.
Have you already done it?
14 minutes.
Oh, he's done it.
Yeah, I've done it up. Yeah, filmed it. Yeah, it's already uploaded and everything. So yeah, it's going to be set for Sunday, mate.
But am I right in thinking it's Mickey Boy Mix a custom tank or not?
Yeah, I'm gonna be going custom, but it depends on what size, which the route I'm gonna be going. So there's only 2 options that I'm gonna be going. So and one of them really does depend on my missus. To be fair, the second one doesn't depend on my missus. The second one
not just
depends
one of
on
them.
me.
All of them depend on your missus, Steve. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the missus. Yeah, she's the boss. But you know what though? I'll give it off. Usually she's good with she usually backs me up on the things. So
yeah. We'll
see. Plus it depends on budget as well, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Remember, it's a lot of money in it. You know, especially like and Tom knows. You know what I mean? Like glass and all that is not cheap, is it? You know what I mean? So especially quality glass, and Mick does use quality glass. You know what I mean? So it'll be fairly pricey thing. So, but the good thing with it is I've got everything I need. So I've got all the lights, I've got all the pumps, I've got the dosers. I don't need to buy anything. I just got to buy the box. You know what I mean? So in the tank and the stand and stuff like that. So really, in theory, I'm up in one sense. You know what I mean? But in another, it's just like I've got to get everything sorted first and figure out which way I want to go. Because if I go one route, I might have to weigh up. Like whether I need to get under the floorboards and see whether I need to just prop up, my my actual joist in my house. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. But we'll see. So I don't want to be rushing into it, but one of them is definitely going to happen in the new year.
Got a concrete floor, no?
March, April.
Floor.
No. It's like a 1920s terraced house, mate. You know what I mean? So it's it's like the old joists. You know what I mean? I wish I had a concrete floor. Flipping heck, I'd have a tank like Tom. If that was the case, it wouldn't be an issue. But yeah, it's weighing up the pros and the cons, really. What's going to cost the most and stuff like that. You know what I mean? To be fair, so. Because she wants all the house decorating, so it's going to be a new sofa, new flooring, new decorating, everything. So it's all going to be new blinds, everything, mate. And that's not cheap, you know what I mean? So, so it's going to be.
You're going to be Manchester's oldest bus driver, you are.
Manchester's what?
Oldest bus driver. You're like, you're retired. You're 84 now.
Got to pay for me tank. Got to pay for me tank.
Can't retire.
Hey, you're right. That will be, mate.
I need a new fish. He talks about fish for about 6 months and he gets a new tank.
Back in the day. Back in the day, the yellow tanks used to be £20 and now they're like 700 quid. That's what I like, mate.
They used to be 150 quid. They used to be 150
that's
quid.
What
and
like.
2 grand.
Yeah. I've got a bit of a confession as well, though, like with this tank thing. Like moving tanks, and Tom will vouch for this. Like, one, it's like absolutely scary. Have you noticed that no one's done a YouTube video on it? Because I reckon there's about 70% pot luck with this when you're moving tanks across the different things. And you always want your new tank where your old one is, and then that's the right faff as well, because then you have to move the other one, then get it running, get it cycling. So I'll be honest. It's a bit of funding, but there's about 90% fear. That's what the other thing.
I was going to say that. I mean, it was Steve. It's
that
what you forget with a tank is, for some reason you've got this in your head that it's like buying a new heater or a test kit. You've bought it and then you've got it. Yeah, you might have bought the tank and it might be there, but then it's the whole, and it's fun, but you need to strap yourself in because there's a lot of downs along the way, and it's that you don't remember.
For sure.
I mean, but it adds to it, and that's what is part of the hobby. And
challenge.
You see
the challenge.
You see, I think I would do like I've done last time on my last 2. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and I would just stick to what I know. You know what I mean? I know like people change in what they do there, you know, how they go about things. Sometimes they experiment and stuff like you did, Paul, where you added different sand and you said like it was totally different to the cycle of your other tanks compared to this one.
Yeah.
Well, I know exactly what I did with my 170. I know exactly what I did with my 350. And I'll do exactly the same on my new tank. You know what I mean? Whatever I get, yeah. Whether it's pardon.
What's your top 5 tips for transferring a tank?
Always have a spare pair of hands.
Well, always have 2 people.
But you should. Yeah, that's one. Always, you should never do it on your own. I did do it on my own, and I was and it was an absolute nightmare. It took me like 12, 13 hours to do it because remember I was doing from 170 to a 350 all on my own, mate. Yeah. The second one is try and use as much of the water as you can. Yeah, along with and also get your beneficial bacteria. You know, your blocks like your bioballs or your blocks. Yeah, get them well established in your existing tank so they've got all the bacteria on it. Yeah. So when you do transfer it, you've got quite a bit of a start, you know what I mean? Yeah. Use as much as the water as you can out of your old existing tank. I probably use about 90% of my water, just the last bit, 10% of the bottom of the 170.
Yeah, it's all cruddy.
Which was obviously, and never, ever use any of the well, sorry, I tell a lie. I used 1 cup of the sand that was in my 170. The rest of it, I threw. I didn't use that, you know what I mean? And stuff. And then if you've already got existing rock, try and use as much as you rock what you've got in your old tank into your new tank, because it's just all beneficial bacteria that's on it, you know what I mean? And it's just gives you. I mean, I was very fortunate, I suppose, because basically I doubled my water volume in my tank from a 170 to a 350. So I had no issues whatsoever. I had no algae, I had no cyano, and I just transferred everything over into the tank. That was it. I never had an issue. So
you did a massive water change in theory, didn't you?
Well,
that's exactly what I did. Yeah. Well, exactly. But I think it was just a bit of luck, a lot of luck, like Tom says. To be fair, when you do a changeover like that, I mean, for you, Jay, it might not be that bad. It's only like a nano tank in it. It's not. It's the hardest thing that I found was because I was in my the hardest thing for me, which I found was I had to build the tank in the living room. Yeah, as well as move the other tank because it was going in the same place. You know what I mean? If you're moving your tank into another position, I think that's a lot easier. You know what I mean?
No, I want it in the same position.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
You what?
I want it here in the same place here. Well, behind me.
You could move that across, though, Jay, couldn't you? You could move. You could run the water down.
Yeah.
Right down, so all the corals are exposed. Actually slide it across somewhere else and put that existing water back in, because the corals can be exposed.
Corals could be exposed.
A while on that, and then if they're going a bit dry, you could use it as a spray and just spray them.
Spray them with a spray. I'd want to do more what Tom's done and just not do it in a day. Like do it over like a few months, slowly, like transferring stuff.
But you need to have it. But you need to have it then set up across the somewhere else in the room.
That's what I mean. I'd have to run 2 tanks.
If you can put it somewhere, and if you can do that, definitely, because then you can get it cycled, blah blah blah, and you could test by putting some of the testers in there.
Yeah,
but I think the top tips for me would be have plenty of water on hand. You never have enough water that's heated and obviously salted. Have some tubs around, because then you can put your rock in and fish and everything else. So put all those in there, because you never know, and then you could keep it. You could keep it overnight.
Yeah,
I brought the big tank down from Derby in one day. And then I left a lot of stuff in tubs overnight with heat and didn't worry about the light and the flow, because I was just too knackered. And then got them going and just finished it off, because I think if you're doing it late into the night, you're going to make mistakes. So we've done the rock work and all that kind of stuff, and then transferred the things in the next day. I mean, I just took my time on that, and it worked.
I don't think you need to write it necessarily down, but I think you need to run it through your head how you're going to do it before you start doing it, because it might sound a silly analogy, but it's like it's like trying to cook something and throwing all the ingredients in at once, and the water goes boiling over and it gets out of hand. You need to have some sort of plan in terms of how you're going to do it before you start doing it.
Z.
That's the best bit of advice I could give. when I've done
Well, I'd have to
breakdowns
because
and moves.
I'd film it as well because obviously I've documented everything. So I'd film the stages of doing it on my YouTube.
I think if you could get someone else to take the video footage and then you do a voiceover only, because it actually is quite stressful.
Yeah.
So I think for you to film and to do it, because you think when you film, you have to stop, right? What have I got here?
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. When it'll probably take you 3 times as long to do what you need to do. So if someone else can film it, and you either do a voiceover as you're going, or you do the voiceover to the footage. That way you're capturing it, and then when you're chilled a bit more, you can then put the narrative to it. Because I think it'd be really hard, and maybe that's why people don't do it, because they're so concentrated on the
task. It's a stressful time.
They forget to do the filming, because there's so much going through your brain. Even if you write it down or not, all the list of things you've got to do. And everything else, let alone if you've got to build the tank as well. But I mean, if you can move your tank out of the way, you've then got time to chill, set it all up, and it's more of a really a transfer, is it really? You get it up and running, and then you just transfer the stuff over as and when.
The best thing you could do, Jay, is either get a really big Tupperware tub and put a heater in a power.
That's exactly what I did.
Definitely do that. If I'd got a nano, that's what I'd be doing. Or I'd buy a cheap second-hand, tank that somebody would use for a sump or whatever. You know, for sake of 20, 30 quid. It's worth that planning for me, because you don't want a headache when things start going pear-shaped. If you've planned it and you've got everything around you, you know what you're doing. Yeah. It should be quite straightforward.
Cheers. Thanks.
To
answer Darren's question, next year at some point, hopefully earlier rather than later. But I need to do it because it's something I need to do. Because this one's getting just outgrowing everything. Everything's getting outgrown. So coming soon.
Excellent. And I'm slowly transferring tanks. That's the best way of doing it. So if you can do it that way, it's just no different to what you're doing, but you've got the corals already, haven't you? So it's just a case of when you decide to switch stuff over.
It's not just that, but if you want to lose anything that you've got now, and you don't want to put it in your new system, you've got an opportunity to take it out and split it.
That's it. Yeah, there's a couple of things. I've got my Redactus mushrooms. I don't really like them. And my zoas, I won't put my zoas in my new tank. I know, I just don't like it. I used to like them.
I love zoas, mate. I just think like a zoa rock is beautiful.
No, they are.
Get the slower growing ones, though, Jay. Get slower growing ones. They take over.
They're just one of them dominates. It's the Spitfires now. I've got 1 million Spitfires. I've got none of the others. Waste of time.
I bet you never thought you'd be saying that when you first got into hobby.
I know,
There's a comment there, Jay, about just moved 350 litre tank in terms of water chemistry, no deaths, but one of the most stressful days I've had. So if you think you're totally under stress and then you're trying to film
across the lot, oh wow.
God, yeah.
Lawn surfing.
I tell you what, though, mate, if you film that'd make a great YouTube video title. With 6-line rasp and across the lawn, mate, they get loads of clicks. That's more clickbait than Steve uses. Yeah. So people do. Well, I mean, people do it all the time, don't they? Transfer tanks, but it's just When you got to remember, I am a beginner. Like I've set that one up, but I've never. I'm still a beginner, really. I've never done a tank transfer.
I totally agree with like Tom says. Is like you've got to plan it. You've definitely got to plan it. No matter what size tank you go from, even if it's just an extra 100 litres or whatever, it doesn't really like. You've got to plan it all out. Like Tom said, a big Tupperware. That's what I did. I bought one of those 150 litre Tupperwares from B&M. I think it was like $19.99 or something. Yeah, but it was probably the best $19.99 that I spent because I could transfer all the rock, all my coral, put a power head. Stuck the power head to the side of it, heater in it, and it could have stayed. It could have stayed in there for days, mate. Things could have stayed in there for days, easily. You could, of course, you could. You know what I mean? Because it had everything that the tank had. It was just in a Tupperware. That's all it was. You know what I mean? So, it had no light. You know what I mean? It just had no light. That was the only other thing. You know what I mean? But corals can survive without light. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's going to be an issue. You know what I mean?
You think about how long you spent putting your nano together in the first time you got it, Jay.
Yeah.
Do you really want to rush it again?
Exactly.
No,
Exactly.
I don't. No, I don't.
Do you know what I mean?
Makes sense. I'd have them both running for a period of time, and then you've got far less stress. We got no stress, but there's always a bit of stress, but nowhere near as much as trying to do it same day. But
Yeah.
There you go. 300 litre, took 6 hours, and God, it was stressful.
So most people, can we have a poll here? Can we have a first poll here?
Right, what's the poll?
First poll of the evening.
Poll is.
To move or not to move?
to do what? I don't know. So basically, it's about transferring a tank. So do you do it in a day, or did you do it like a phased transfer or day transfer? I'd be interested.
I think it probably depends on people's circumstances, doesn't it, as well, though? Because if people have got from one house to another, or from one tank to another because they're selling it or whatever, then
I suppose
time dictates how quickly you move. If you're lucky enough and you've got the time, then take the time.
Yeah.
Or maybe we should say, would you do a phase transfer or would you do a day transfer? Like if you could choose,
I can only have a yes or no. So I'm going to put: did you complete tank transfer in a day?
Yeah.
You happy with that, Jay?
Would you do a tank transfer in a day if you had longer?
Let me do this one. I'll do that one first.
If you didn't have to.
If you didn't have to,
Right.
It's getting a bit complicated, that question, isn't it?
You're making it complicated.
I know, but you know what I'm trying to say, don't you? Like, I had the question, and then you, to be fair, Tom, you raised a very good argument, which you always do. And we need to build that in, don't we? Because if you're moving out, you ain't got any choice, have you? Like you said.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. If you didn't have to, would you complete a tank transfer in a day? You all right with that?
Yes or no? Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. I'm starting the poll. There we go.
Nice one.
Because those people who maybe haven't done it before.
Yeah, if you haven't done it, then I
mean, there's even people who've been unfortunate enough to have a split tank. It's bust, so they've had to.
Oh yeah, well then you
emergency move it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not going to go out and buy a brand new Red Sea tank. You're going to go and put it in some Tupperware, maybe, depending on the size of it. Try and keep everything alive. Maybe you've got some friends that can, babysit fish, corals, whatever, and then you're going to reseal it, and that's going to take however many long to cure. So, again, it depends on circumstances.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if there's any.
No, thanks for doing the poll. Just interested to see what. Obviously, got some very experienced reefers watching this, so I'll be interested to their opinion.
So there's Hummons reefers basically set up, had 2 tanks running.
One out
looks at it, and then move things across.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare. I think. See, this is what you hear. Look, everybody's posting. Yeah, it was the worst day of my life. It's stressful. It's
no, they haven't said that. They said it was stressful. They didn't say it was the worst day of their life.
It's a nightmare. You know what I mean? I don't need a stress or a nightmare. I don't need that really.
One thing you've got.
Yeah, but that's going to happen. That's going to happen. It's going to happen, mate. You're going to be stressed. You're going to be anxious. You're going to be. So whether you want it or not, that's irrelevant, mate. Because that's going to happen. It's going to happen. It happens whether you go from that little tiny tank where you've got, or Tom's monstrous bloody tank there. It doesn't matter, mate. Whichever tank, it's going to be stressful. You know what I mean? But it's how you deal with it. If, like you said, if you've got it all planned out and you've got it all set off, it should be less stressful. That's what it is. It should be less stressful.
Yeah, things for you, Jay.
Like Biggie, you just don't know.
I tell you what, Jay. Right, if you want to do a tank transfer, we'll drive over to you. I'll come up to you for the day.
Yeah,
and we can have a frag moving party.
I'll have a sunbed.
And I'll come up and
you got some.
You can give us all 3 Pepsi Max.
You can have a Pepsi Max, mate. Bring the bus over. Get everyone over, eh?
Get that
bus over.
The benefit you've got is you're moving it literally from one end of the room to the other.
Yeah.
Some people have got to move it up and downstairs, out of a cellar, out of a garage, into a car, into a van.
Another part of the country.
I know I sound wimpy about it. It's just like it was a big thing me getting a saltwater tank to start with, and because it's gone quite well, now it's a big thing. Basically dismantling it and then starting again, as it were. And I'm just
So
worried.
you've lost your
Mate,
virginity and now you want to get
I'm
married.
the same.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to settle down, Tom. I just want to settle down. When's this
I'm
like
the same with you, mate.
I don't need it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not, and obviously, like this tank is not my dream tank like you've got there, Tom. So I'm obviously gonna need to upgrade. But
yeah.
Well,
So John said, don't do it the day before a school inspection.
yeah, that is very true. Oh my god, that would be a nightmare.
Yeah,
Tip me over the edge.
Drippy's saying, get your liver sorted first.
But again, I mean,
I'm off to Turkey soon, so I'll get it done there. That'll be all right.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, let's end the poll and see where I forgot about the poll. Wait a minute, let's end it.
The poll, get the poll out. Drum roll. Watch me 50-50 and we're still in the dark.
It is, would you complete a tank transfer in a day? 58 said no, they wouldn't do it in a day. And 41% yes, they would do it in a day.
You know what I mean?
Worse than I thought that.
So this is where the hobby is still isn't clear on the best.
Well, the only thing
maybe
I was going to say to you then,
situation.
Maybe it works both ways.
The only thing I was going to say to you then, Jay, was I'm assuming you are, but if you're ever going to do a tank move, I'd definitely be doing it on a weekend. So there's an LFS shops open in case you have to emergency run out there and get something that you've broken or dropped or whatever. Because if you do it middle of the week and they're shut and you've got to drive 100 miles to go and get something, you've got a problem, haven't you?
Yeah. It'd definitely be a weekend. I'd do it in a holiday. I've got a couple of them, so I'll do it in them.
You get quite a few, I've heard.
I wanted to.
And there's a tip there. I moved not mine across the room. It was across the other side of Isle of Wight. Best thing I did was spend a couple of weeks before sorting and labelling all the cables and tidying up. So a good bit of prep there.
Good tip. Thank you. Good tip.
Absolutely. Right. Let's move on to the subject, which is what you don't need in a reef tank. So I'll start off with the first one. Do you need a tank controller? Something like an Apex.
An Apex, yeah.
Or something like that. There's a few of them around. So do you need
Absolutely not. Waste of money. Waste of money. Why? It's just what? Steve disagrees.
Right,
I do
so
disagree.
why don't you think
this is going to be a good debate. This is going to be
no,
a real good debate.
Because you think you have to have everything. You think you have to have everything.
No.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
not.
Already. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But you go ahead and you explain the reason. You explain your reasons why you think a controller is not relevant.
I'll tell you why. Okay. Yeah. How much does it cost?
700 quid.
Right.
For the £500 for the basic one, which does a few things.
Right. What have you got alive in your tank that's not alive in my tank? Because I ain't got one.
Right. Okay. But all right then. I've got everything. But all right then. I'll reverse this. Yeah. What have I got in my tank? What have I got in my tank? Yeah. That if something does go wrong, I can sort it out straight away over my phone wherever I am in the world.
Your mindset.
While you're at work, marking your school reports. So that's the difference. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'll get a notification if something happens. You get no notifications.
You're on the 479 over the Pennines. So what are you going to do?
It doesn't matter. It's what's called process of elimination. It's limiting. It's limiting any disasters that can happen to your tank. Your holy grail. Yeah. It could be worth £500. £600. with a few heads on it. So you're really at risk. Not only your holy grail, but your chalice and everything. You've probably got maybe £2,000-3,000 worth of corals in there for the sake of a £500 controller, mate. It's just not worth it.
And it's going to set an alert, but I'll just. By the time you get your alert, I'll be home anyway because I don't work that many hours.
No, but it tells you on a lab, but it tells you like if an electric strip. It'll tell you like if temperature's gone high.
Leak sensor.
And if I'm not in the house,
if it's leaking, yeah, exactly, leak sensor.
Yeah, I'm the leak sensor.
It's just,
and I don't cost a grand.
I think my take on that. Well, all I was going to say, my take on it is
no. But you know what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
What issues have you had with your tank over the years, or however long you've been in that hobby, and could they have been avoided if you would have been notified of them earlier?
Exactly.
Well, I think, to be honest, I've been quite lucky with mine. I haven't really had any issues.
Valid point.
That's I kind of agree. I kind of agree with both. I'm not. I feel like we're on Jerry Springer here, and we're having an argument of who slept with cleaner or something.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like that. The DNA test is coming out in a minute. I tell you.
The apex. Who's the father of the apex?
You don't need.
Maybe it's a big tank, little tank thing. Maybe it's a big tank. If you've got a big tank, maybe you need that.
Would it help? Does it help things? Yes.
Why would you buy?
Would it help? Yes.
Why would you buy a controller that's $1,000 when like a nano is like $1,000 or $2,000 to set up?
Because you might upgrade and then you take it with you on your next system.
Yeah. Take it with you on your next one. Yeah.
So I've got an alternative.
Why would you have a big light? Why would you have a powerful light like say Radeon XR30 on a small tank? Yeah.
But it's shiny.
When you know that you. Yeah, when it's like blasted, it's like the sun on it, yeah? But you could turn it down to like 10%, yeah? But then also, if you transfer into a bigger tank, say a 3-foot tank or a 4-foot tank, yeah? You could take that light with you, couldn't you? You know what I mean? So that's the reason why you do these things. Well, that's the reason why I do them anyway. Because I know the stuff that's on this tank's getting shut down February, March, being closed down, yeah? So once this tank's gone, then no matter what tank you get, whether it's a big tank or a small tank, I can take my Apex on it. I can take the lights on it. I can take everything over onto it, mate, onto the next tank that I get. And it's
I don't really get what it does. Like, what information are you getting that I don't get?
Right. So I've got an alternative to an Apex. It's a lot cheaper. The Red Sea 3-in-1 ATO does the basics of what you need. So if I look at what I've got, it sends me a notification. Temperature, I think, is the biggest risk. But also it's got a leak detector on it. So both of those. So it's £200 plus you get the ATO. So you buy the ATO and it comes free because it's all built into the price. So actually, I probably any ATO in the future, I'd buy that one because I get not a tank controller, but a tank monitor. It doesn't control it, but it tells me if there's a problem, which does help me. And it has saved already because I've got an alert on the temperature and actually the skimmer overflowed and it was going on the floor and the leak detector went off. In terms of an Apex, I think the Apex has saved my other tank before as well because of the heat and salinity as well. So I had an issue with salinity and I didn't know about it and I got a notification. And that was when it was on the bigger tank. So do I need it? No, but has it saved the tank? Certainly the 450 would have crashed a couple of times. It had not been for the Apex through my stupidity.
I'm more convinced by that. I would have one of them. I think it's the price for what it does. I don't really.
That's not what I mean, Joe.
Just don't get.
They can be a bit confusing to set up as well. I mean, first time I tried,
they're not easy they used to be.
It was a bit.
They are.
It was a bit difficult, but for me, it's like do you need a sat nav or do you use a map? I don't know. Do you need it? Do you go on directions? Is it essential?
Yeah.
Probably not. Can you run a tank without one? Yes.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Sure.
If you've not had it, you don't. If you don't have it, you don't miss it, do you? But like,
let's look back. I mean, I've not been in the hobby as much as most people. I mean, I got into it from my mum, but whatever, 15, 16 years ago, whatever it was, but she didn't have any of this. Skimmers. It was an under gravel filter. You mix salt in a bucket. There was, power heads really weren't even invented, but still had good tanks. So it's, just technology, isn't it? Back in the day, you didn't have a mobile phone, did you? You were walking around with a Sony Walkman.
The title of this live stream, if I'm not wrong, is "Do you need it?" Not is it desirable?
Sorry, Dad. Sorry.
No, not about you, Tom. No, not about you, Tom. I'm on about him.
It's all about Steve.
Mr. I love my gadgets. I love my gadgets. Have you seen that Lee Evans sketch?
I think all I'll say on the gadgets.
I just said you don't need it.
Exactly. So there you go. Thanks. You don't need it.
I think you've got to be careful that you don't become too reliant on them. And I think that's when it gets dangerous. It doesn't matter how much money you spend, whether you get the best of the best of the best. It's same with even with certain test kits. I think sometimes the simple, the cheapest, the basic is the best, personally.
Yeah, less to go wrong.
Ailey said it there. You don't need it, but want it is a different matter. And it's
Yeah,
true.
I agree.
That's it. That's it. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
I didn't even
You
see
don't
that
need
comment,
it.
but that's it. Need.
I say that to my missus all the time.
But the question is, do you need it? Yeah.
Do you need
Yeah.
do you need it? So I think on a big tank where you've got lots of different things set up, I would say yes, because I think it helps to control things.
Yeah,
you could run it without it, but you've got more chance of failure. And there's a few points in here about peace of mind.
Yeah,
and then there was LS10 talking about, I've been in the hobby for 12 years and only thinking about it now. And then if you have a look at it, more and more people I'm seeing are getting an Apex, then putting a DOS system on it and doing for auto water changes, which are paying water changes compared to a bucket of water. You don't need that. And I think BRS are pushing that hard at the moment on their 52 weeks of reefing, aren't they? All their systems, they're changing 1.25% of water, which is getting people thinking about it more. And guess what? Your Apex and your DOS does that as well. So again, you don't need it, but it would help and maybe prevent things.
I mean, for me, the recorder stuff like that, it gives you a couple of extra things as well, benefits. You can record the data, so you can look at historically, you can look at trends. You can look at what happened this time last week, month, year, whatever.
Absolutely.
But again, if you go on holiday or you're not near your tank, you can access information that your next door neighbor or your friend might say, well, everything looks okay, but it actually might not be. So again, there are added bonuses to it. For me, I think that the trends and the history of the tank, it tells a story, and you can go back to that data as far back as you want to when you first put the equipment on, which I think is really good. And it's dialing your tank, as I always say, it's understanding your tank, which, if you've got the information, it helps guide you in the right direction.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to end the poll.
Yeah.
I think it is a cool bit of kit, to be honest. It is a cool bit, and I can see why people have them.
No is 84, and yes is 15, which I think is representative of the conversation.
Does that give you the point? Yeah, you win a point there then, because you said you don't need it and everyone's agreed with you. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right. The next one, which actually someone has put a comment on here. Where are we? Right. Is an ATO a need to have?
Yes.
I'd say yes.
A need to have,
Yes. Absolutely. If there's anything that's I think is a must, it's an ATO is a must. ATO. How many of us have had to top up our water and forgot and never I've not done it, because I know I have, when you did it manually. Yeah. And it was like, oh God. And then my missus is like phoning me saying, there's bubbles coming through the pot and the pump's nearly burning itself out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So an ATO, absolutely, a good quality ATO. Like the Tons is a good one. And stuff.
He's changed his tune, hasn't he?
I'm not going to go into this because I might get jail on one. But Tons is so far so good. Yeah, this is a good one. And I know that the Red Sea is a good one. So one of those is a must, I think, 100%.
So I run my first tank with no auto top up, and I've said before I used to wait until
you did.
And I'd put like 8 or 10 liters of water in it, and in that 12 months, it didn't crash. I mean, the salinity must have been all over the shop, because you think 135 liters, and sometimes I was pouring 8 liters in. That's a big swing on the salinity. But I had, some real basic corals in there, like a war coral, candy canes, zoas. I had a couple of torches and they were okay. I had some basic SPS and they were just brown. But I put that down to the lights and my incompetence rather than salinity going up and down like a fiddler's elbow.
Yeah.
It can be done, but I would not be without an ATO. No,
that is a good one. You can't do it without an ATO, surely. You can, but
and if Carl was here, Carl manually tops up everything.
Yeah, he did,
everything.
Yeah.
On that. Right, let's see if there's any other comments before we end the poll. Gadgets don't make the reefer. Yeah. It helps from a convenience point of view and helps you with your mistakes. It can call out your mistakes. I found
your lifestyle, mate, with your work and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's for me. I know I'd forget the certain things. You know what I mean? So it's true that.
There's another vote for that.
You can see cat
flaps.
I think the other thing as well, especially with like a dosing pump as well, you can dial them in that precise when it comes to supplements and things like that. That you can really dial it into a point that you won't be able to do it if you did it by hand. It'd be a lot more. It'd take you a lot longer to find that sweet spot than it would with certain technology.
Right, I'm going to end that poll. And it's 80% says yes and 20% says no. There we go.
Interesting.
Right, and the next one
definitely needed 80.
Is about Hannah Checker, because we've talked about Hannah stuff. I don't know how many times over the 2.5 years or whatever we've been doing that. So I think on this one, do you need a Hannah Checker?
No.
I mean, I think
any of them.
Well,
because there's some. Oh God, that's
because they are the more expensive. They're the more expensive ones, aren't they? If you have a look, you've got Salifert is probably arguably the cheapest. They're probably the cheapest, and you've got Hannah, and I know you kind of got digital versus the fact of can you look at the color. So what's our views on?
I could do without all of them, apart from the alkalinity one.
But why?
I'm going to struggle to say no without that one because that's.
I bet you haven't done the low range nitrate one before though. That's an absolute mare.
Mate, that one.
That is an absolute mare.
Bill got that one.
He did one when he first got it for 20, and it took him 25 minutes.
It took me the whole frigging live stream. No one watched it.
I think the only thing with digital test kits, and I've only learned this recently, to be fair, is you just need to make sure you're calibrating them. Because anything that's digital can gradually over time go out of whack, whether it's the salinity, pen, pH pen, anything that's like that can go slightly out of whack. And for me, it'd be always a good benchmark to use it against,
But even like
the one thing that I religiously, calibrate all the time, and I'd probably say every two to 3 weeks, I'd say, is the salinity pen. Behind the salinity pen, I'm always onto that one. You know what I mean? I always calibrate that one for sure.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, even the actual Hannah checkers, they do have the calibrations, don't they? The actual the calibration set to calibrate them and stuff. But you should really do it. I think I've done it probably twice in mine. You know what I mean? So to be fair,
that's
it's good practice. It's just good practice where it's a TDS pen or refractometer.
You should. You should do.
That alkalinity one, though, that's the one I'm stuck on. I could do without any of the others, but that alkalinity one. And Steve, you use that one to bloody set your bloody KH keeper that costs $1,000. You use that to benchmark against the bloody £1,000 KH keeper. So
it's true. Well, what I do is, I said it before. I use 3 of them. So I use the Salifert test kit, and then I do a test with that. I do a test with a Hannah checker, and then I do a test with a KH keeper, and then I write them all down, and then I get an average of what the actual scores come out of range, and then I basically input that into the KH keeper, and then roughly as long as it stays that ballpark, then I'm happy. You know what I mean? And really, it should be in that same the same path. You know what I mean? So that's what I do. You test mine on the alkalinity with 3 different test kits. Whether people might say, well, that just goes against what's the point of spending £700 on a cage?
When you listen to the Salifert.
But remember these things, well, you can just buy a Salifert for £12. But it just takes that thing away, doesn't it? It gives you that peace of mind. I know that I can test my tank, every 2 hours if I wanted to with my Hannah check with the KH keeper. When I'm at work, I can't come home and then test it and do it that way if I wanted to. So it just gives me that ease. It's just a lot easier for me.
And you're looking for stability as well, aren't you, Steve?
For stability as well.
And that's the good thing about the KH keeper now is I think if you're keeping a tank that's full of corals, and especially ones that are more sensitive, I think that's when a KH keeper comes into it, because what you want is stability, and you want a flat line on it, don't you? And then you've got your Hannah checker that just makes sure that it's dialed into where you need it to. I mean, that's the Hannah checkers. I don't use any of them as test kits. The only one I do use, and I started using recently, was the salinity one. I find
it's good.
it's so easy, rather than using the kind of the good old fashioned reefometer. I use that, and it's so easy to do, especially across the 3 tanks. Because I found I wasn't doing it, and you can, you do it in 5 seconds. It's just, I think it's a really good piece of kit, and I think that's worthwhile. Do I need it? No. I think you need something to measure salinity.
Yeah,
it's just a case of whether you go for a digital one or the old-fashioned one. And now I love the Hannah Checker one. It's so easy to use. You have to calibrate every month.
So easy.
Yeah, but it's I think that's
so easy. So easy, but you can't beat the good old refractor. You know what I mean? To be fair, yeah. I mean, every so often I do get that out. I dig the Red Sea one out, and I do dig that out, and I calibrate it. And it's and I always check with that one. But I do the majority of the time. I do use the Hannah Checker for sure.
I fell out with Hannah Checkers a few years ago because I was getting results all over the place with certain ones. But I think what I'd say with the Hannah Checkers is that there's a very small margin of error with them when it comes to fingerprints, whether the powders dissolve properly. So I would always use it as a cross reference personally against a Salifer 100%.
Yeah.
I wouldn't just rely on that solely because it might not be the machine, it might be the person that's using it that's got it wrong.
But you can say that about all the other kits, aren't you? You think about
you can, but you're trying to get that range,
and the reagents and stuff like that. And I'm sure each time I do it, it's probably going to be slightly different in terms of the amount of I think on the magnesium for the Red Sea, you put 2 milliliter of water in. There's not much error right there, is there, in terms of going over?
No, I mean, and again with the Saliferts, and they're great, and I've used them for years. But there's certain kits, like phosphate and nitrate, and me and the missus will quite often go against a white wall. Is it pink? Is it blue? What does that look like to you? What does that look like to you? And everybody's eyesight's going to be slightly different, I suppose. Whatever you want to say, but to have something as a backup, as a cross reference, is all I'm saying. Is for me makes more sense. So you don't go to bed worrying that you've got really high nutrients or really low nutrients when actually it might not be the case. So I think to have both is always a good idea.
For the money, those Saliferts are brilliant. For the money, they're absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've closed the poll. Do you need a Hannah Checker?
I pressed the wrong button, by the way.
No. You did too.
I know. But I realised I pressed the wrong button.
So what did you do? Press no instead of yes?
No, I pressed yes, and I want to press no. I can't live without a Hannah Checker.
No, the question is, do you need a Hannah Checker?
Oh, yes, I pressed.
It doesn't say can you live without it.
Sorry. I thought I misread the question.
No, you actually got the answer right to the wrong question.
Yeah, I got it right. Yeah. Good.
Right, I know what the next one is, but I'm just going to go through some comments. There's quite a few here that I just want to make sure I don't miss them. I don't have a controller. I do have a KH keeper that never has reagent. Steve's new sponsor for Tunzi incoming.
No way. You were slating them on one of the live streams.
Oh, I didn't slate them.
Now?
I wasn't slating them. I was talking about like how disappointed I was with the cost of it and that it wasn't working. That's what it was. It's a bit different slating them, but yeah.
No, you weren't slating them. You just went. My Tunzi's broken. I was bloody annoyed, mate. You know what I mean? Because I had to do it manually. That's why I hate doing things manually. You know that? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Has your bus got autopilot, Steve?
I tell you what, I can't wait for them to have it, mate. You know, we need Tesla to design buses. That's what we need, mate. You know what I mean?
He'd have a driverless bus. He'd talk himself out of a job. He'd have it that automatic.
You can sit there
absolutely,
and make a video,
mate. Dead right. Exactly. Yeah, I could join you on the live stream when I'm working late.
Hey, that'd be good.
Bus. Right, there's another comment here. You know, all your tanks are meant to swing to some level. I mean, mine swing all over the shop.
Absolutely.
Absolutely do. Right, okay, let's see. Good admit, I've only had an ATO the last 4 or 5 years. Before that, I top up once an evening. Fair play, the due diligence on that one, Holy.
Fair play. Absolutely.
Salafert's always done me well, combined with a quarterly ICP. Yeah,
you can't go wrong.
ICP's perfect.
Henna. And for some people that are colourblind, Hennas are brilliant. Obviously,
Yeah.
I know one or two reefers that do it because they struggle with the differentiation on the colours. It depends on the test kits. I think something like the ELOS high res phosphate's brilliant because you've got such a wide range and the colours are so different. But some of the others are quite. I find the Red Sea one's quite difficult for alkalinity for when it turns the other colour.
Yeah.
I don't stress over NO3. I use Salivate for a rough guide. Yeah. Test files are meant to be soaked and cleaned between tests, especially the calcium. I always rinse mine out and then dry them off for the next use.
I always
soak them, but they do get a rinse.
Yeah, I soak mine in hot water from the kettle when I do them. Just rinse them out that way and then just not dry them off. Just shake them and then put them back in the box.
Yeah, the phosphate one's good.
The
phosphate one's really good.
The Henna phosphate,
I agree.
Yeah, the phosphate,
Henna phosphate. Salifate and any titration test is absolutely useless after 6 months open.
True.
They do go off, don't they? All of them go off, though. The alkalinity for Henna goes off quite quick.
There you go. Tunzi only replaced Steve's ATO as they start using Right, that's the end of the comments. There's some other questions and suggestions. So I'm just moving back up. I've just seen one that's going to be lots of fun. The next one is temperature controller. So I would live. I mean, some of them. If you have the titanium heaters, you need a temperature controller. Otherwise, it will.
No choice.
It will cook your tank. But I love, as you know, the DD temperature controller is probably the best bit of kit I've ever bought.
And such a good price, sub £50 as well for what it does. I think it's a brilliant bit of kit.
Yeah,
I used to be sub £50. I don't think it's gone up anymore. I don't know, but when I bought it,
it
was about 35-40 quid. I think when I bought it. Great bit of kit. Would not be without it.
And even when I've had heaters where they've got the thermostat on them, I then treat it as a redundancy because you never know whether that thermostat's going to go astray.
I don't rely on them. I don't like them ones on the top. You know, I've had one, the EIM one, and it turned around and it had a blue dial and a red dial, and it was like mess fiddler, and it was just awful, mate. And I kept on. I basically use it to just warm my temp. You know, my tubs up when I'm mixing my solutions and stuff like that. Yeah, that's all I do it for. I would never ever trust one of them in my tank.
I use one of those for
EHIM, mate. How can you just slate EHIM? Like
I'm saying the ones with the control with the things on the controller on the top of them when it's red and green. No, mate.
EHIM are good products.
EHIM.
Good products, mate.
D&D on a controller. D&D on a controller, mate.
We've had a glass eater break in the early days.
Glass eater, exactly.
Everybody. But I've also had a titanium, D&D 650 or 600, whatever it was, that failed on me twice. So I've experienced both. So, and that was on a temp controller. I've melted a Reef factory temp controller because I've had 2 meters in it, at 2 higher wattage. So, yeah. Concept's great, but it's not always that practical, unfortunately.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna swear by the DD controller. What do I press then? Yes.
I've not had an issue with one of those, in all fairness, and obviously it's the very same as I think the Aquamedic do the same one, don't they? It's pretty much the same.
Similar. So all 3 tanks, I've got the DD controllers on them. That controls it, and then you got the backup with the ATO. I think they're brilliant.
Apart from when it makes that noise, it's really, really hot or really, really cold.
I tell you what, in the summer, they were bleeping all over the place. I just turned them off because I knew the temperature weren't going to go down. It was like an orchestra of bleeping across the house.
You can change it the range so that stops them bleeping.
Yeah, but then I'd forget to turn it back. So I just turned it off.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Like 2-3 weeks when we had the really hot temperature.
Yeah.
So I think that's a resounding yes. And actually, if I look at ending the poll, no surprise,
not have one of them,
it
jeez.
is 95% yes,
Yeah.
4% no. So there was a 1% that was clearly on the fence. But there we go.
Yeah. No.
Right.
Fair
So
enough.
there's the next one is always my favourite. Water change.
Oh, I thought Steve would say this one. I was waiting for Steve to go. You know what, lads? You don't need a water change. You don't need a water change. I
Right.
was
Let's
waiting
start
for that.
the poll, and then I'll pass over to Steve.
Go on, Steve. Tell us why.
How can I put it? Just look at my tank. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, we can't see it.
You need a water change. I don't. Well, they are. Well, yeah, no. On a serious note, I just say, just look at my tank. I'm as you know, I've not done a water change in 5 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
And my tank's thrived. It's survived. It's gone through, temperature swings. It's done its thing, and I've never had an issue. So for me, I only feel that you need to do a water change if something major's happening in your tank, like an algae bloom or you've got a major problem, in it. Then super high nitrates or super high phosphates, and you want to lower them down. Because really, basically, that's all we're doing. All right, you're taking out the trace elements of it, but if you're dosing your trace elements separately into the tank, that's all you're replenishing. You know what I mean? In theory, that's all you're replenishing is the trace elements as well as. I know you get what I'm getting water in my tank. I'm doing a water change by my ATO. My ATO stopping water into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
All
but it's
time.
not.
So,
Go on. I'll let you finish.
I just don't believe in it.
Let's get him, Tom. Let's get him.
I know you're not going to say, "Oh, water change." But Jay, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you or did you not say on our private space? Did you? What did you say? What did you say? You said you've not done a water change.
Someone's not getting a Christmas card here.
Hold on, Hold on, Tom. Listen to this, He said, I've not done a water change in 3 weeks, and my tank's not looked anything better. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That is true.
Probably stability, though.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So you just answered your own question.
Anyway, I'll let Tom speak. I've been rinsed there.
No, all I was going to say on water changes, I think I sound like a stuck record with this, to be fair, but it depends on a couple of things for me. Your lifestyle, your routine, for one, and your feeding method. If you're going to put a lot of food in and you haven't got the right filtration, or you haven't got a big enough filtration system to take it out, it's going to cause you problems in the long run, and then you are going to have to do water changes. So I'm a big advocate of big in, big out. So in terms of putting a lot of nutrient in, and whatever isn't there, it gets exported. So for me, that's what works for me, but it might not be the case for everybody. Yeah. So I think it depends on the person and what they're trying to achieve with the tank, really.
Well,
yeah.
For me, right, I've got a couple of disclaimers. I did say that, Steve. I did say after 3 weeks, my tank did look better. It did. I'll be honest, right?
Yeah.
But I've got two issues. If you've got a new tank, anything sub a year or maybe sub out a year and a half, I don't think you can not do water changes. I think you have to do water changes as you establish your tank. Like your tank is like, I don't know, it's been around a long time, hasn't it, your tank? 5 years?
5 years, mate, yeah.
So it is super stable, so therefore it doesn't need so many water changes and stuff like that. So I think you've got to be careful when we say don't do water change, because obviously if people's got a younger tank, it could be a problem. And the other thing is, right, you don't replenish every minor trace element when you dose. So there are some things in your tank missing, which if you did a water change, they would be there. That's the issue.
I get that. I get what you're saying there. But when I do ICP tests, why does everything come back that everything's fine in the tank?
I don't know.
It goes back to what I said a minute ago.
How does it come back? I dose all the trace elements. I dose Coral Essentials trace elements, the aminos the grow. I dose, and then all the trace elements that are needed are already in the calcium, alkaline, and magnesium. I dose from Coral Essentials. They're already in them. You know what I mean? So to say like I might not be dosing everything.
Well,
I
like
don't
boron
know
or
if that
whatever
could
it
be
is, and all the
necessarily
little
true.
ones.
Mate, I think they're all in it, mate. It says
No.
trace elements. What's in it? I don't know. But when I do ICP test, in fact, I tell you what, yeah. Tell you what I'll do, yeah. Next week, right? I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna buy an ICP test, yeah. I'm gonna send one off the following week or whatever, and we'll post them up the ICP results. What it's come, and we'll show like 5 years and no water changes what my ICP test comes back at, and that's with dosing all these trace elements. Yeah, what I'm doing.
Right,
Because I
If you dose all the
I know my tank. I know
He
what I
doesn't
know
dose
exactly
them
how
all.
it'll
Paul.
come
He
back.
don't dose them all. No
It'll
chance.
come back exactly the same. It'll come back exactly the same, mate.
All the
You know
little
what I mean?
ones, minor trace elements.
I think you used to dose that with the what was the one you used to do? Reef forest? No. Was it?
Aquaforest used to do it.
Aquaforest. But you
Yeah.
used to dose all the minor elements with that, didn't you?
Did.
Yeah, I dosed all of them. Yeah, I dosed them all, mate. Yeah. But the reason, obviously, I went on to the thing, and then everything is in like those containers. You know what I mean? So, or the majority of what a tank really needs, I say, yeah. Like Jay's probably going to point out, not maybe everything in the world in salt water is probably not in it.
There's no way you're putting all them back in. No way.
All right then. So how do you know that all of them are in the salt that you use when you do water changes?
Because I pay for expensive.
How do you know?
I pay for Pro Reef. The word pro means it's good.
Nobody. I could make a salt and give it to you and say it's all of it's in it, mate. You just don't know.
Time out.
You don't know that that's all it is. Unless you do an ICP test, yeah. So you do an ICP, I'll do an ICP, and we'll see. We'll match it and see who's the best water. 5 years of water changes, or yours.
And if I'm not on next week, mine's gone west.
That's sad. Right. Okay. I'm going to go to Tom on this. I'm going to go to Tom, and they're going to do some comments, and then we'll move on. I've got to end the while you're talking, Tom. I'm going to end the poll.
Thanks for that, John.
All I was going to say is when it comes to dosing, though, you can start to confuse things by doing water changes as well, because you can sometimes defeat the object of what you're trying to do. So
double reefer or whatever.
So I definitely agree with Steve in terms of the ICP, and in most ICPs it tells you how to correct anything that's a deficiency or So I think it depends on your tank. You don't know what corals you've got, what they consume, how much, So I think you just find a method that works for you and your system, don't you? So there's no right or wrong answer. I don't think it's what you want to do and what fits your lifestyle and your tank. But only you will know that.
When 87% of people are saying you need to water change, I think there is a right answer.
No, absolutely. And you know what? I've got to give it to you, Jay, with your tank. Yeah, I think with a smaller tank, I think you need to do water changes. You know what I mean? Yeah, because a lot of things can happen in a small water volume. Yeah, things, and it can happen quite quick. Yeah, whereas in a larger tanks like Tom's, and mine's not a large tank.
In a grown-up tank.
Yeah, in a grown-up tank like your Jay. Yeah, a big boy's tank. I will, a big boy's tank. Maybe you need to do water changes. You know what I mean? But like for for like Tom's and Tom's going to do water changes obviously. But like for me, I just stick to what I know. I know it's controversial for sure, but you know what? I just say to people, look at the tank, look at the corals, they're thriving. So it's low.
That is true, mate. Your tank is stunning.
I'm not going to change.
Your tank is stunning. So
I appreciate that, Jay. Nice
one,
mate.
It is. You do a cracking job with it, and it works for you definitely. But I know it's just funny.
He's found a way that works for him, though, hasn't he? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very good.
Right, I'm going to move on with some comments, and then we'll come back to another question.
Right. I'm enjoying this.
I am enjoying it.
I'm glad we're in different rooms, otherwise, but it will be a bloody fight in us, like here. That looks
right. So going back to
passion tonight in the chat.
Absolutely. So Hannah Checker, and yes, I forgot to say the salinity one also does a temperature as well.
It does.
So reference that.
Fairly accurate.
Use the Inkbird Wi-Fi. 100% for a temp controller. Those hot summers we're getting there.
Okay,
when I first came into the hobby, so it was only kind of 9 years ago, the DD controllers didn't exist. So people used to make their own controllers. You used to go on eBay and buy all the parts, and there used to be these big grey boxes.
Yeah,
and people would make them, and then you get your kind of extension lead that had 2 or 3 plugs in it. You'd wire it all up, and it would be a temperature controller. And people used to do that all the time. That was it the SCC 1000 or something? It was something like that kind of name. There we go. And Haley's just said that. STC 1000. That's the one. Yeah. You could buy it off of eBay as a complete pack, which was quite expensive, or you could buy the components, and it was a lot cheaper.
A few wires though, Paul, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I never actually made one myself. Yeah,
quite a few wires.
There you go. I turned my DD control off in hot weeks, and the Red CATO kept an eye on everything for me.
Must be out all the time. It is Gaff. He's always in his pants, isn't it, tonight? Must be always up.
Had a titanium heat bath valve, now running a wee glass heater on a DD heat controller. I run one of those Eheim for 6.5 years, the glass one, on the 450 without failure, Steve. I know that would bring you in hot sweats because you like to change them every 12 months.
Change them every year, mate. Change them every year.
I know. There you go. Haley's not done a water change for 4 years.
Wow. Perfect, Taylor. Absolutely. Me and Haley are in one of the 13% group. We're in the 13%
that must be you and Haley's vote there, then.
Yeah, it's just our votes, I think.
On the fence,
sometimes
I'm all for and sometimes I'm against.
Yeah.
I'm 100% on water changes, at least 10% every 4 weeks.
You know what? Somebody actually did say that to me, actually. I can't remember who said that to me, but somebody did say to me, well, I know you don't do water changes, but why don't you do it? It was in one of the shops. Can't remember whether it's Cracker Corals or water out of the blue. Can't remember, but I was talking to some guy, and he was saying like, "What? But don't you think it'll be beneficial if he did, like, say, a 10 or a 20% water change, even if it was just once a month or something like that?" And I'm like, but then I thought, well, what would be beneficial in it? Like, you know, in my mindset, I was like, well, what? And I didn't really have an argument with him. I just basically just said, well, I don't really know because I can't see what would be beneficial in it. Like, what could be beneficial? Oh, well, your corals will look better than this, that, and then I showed him the tank, and he was like, he looked at me and went, yeah, you're probably best off not just doing just stick to what you know. And I said, exactly. And that was it, you know, end the conversation. So it is a thing. You like, what's the guy just said, just up there, like, who was it who just said is a bit controversial? Grumpy Reefer. Was it the Grumpy Reefer? Just up from there. Where was it?
He said he's on the fence.
Where he said, he was sat on the fence with it, whether it's good or bad. You know what I mean? I think it's like I said, it's entirely down to yourself. But whatever works for you, whatever works for you.
I think that like 3 or 4 week job, a little bit. I think that's the one. I think once you get your tank up and running, I think that's what Scott's saying. I think that's a good sweet spot for water changes. Not every week, perhaps.
Well, I'm going to be feeding a lot in this system, corals and fish, you know, so to prevent myself from having a headache, I will be doing water changes. Yeah. If I wasn't feeding that much, I wasn't feeding aggressive, as in putting a lot in, I probably wouldn't do them as often as I'm going to be doing. So,
Are you going to do auto water changes, or are you going to do?
No, I'll do a manual. Manual.
Because I'm thinking on one of the tanks, when I close one down, I'll have DOS doses available. Yeah. So I was thinking of actually copying the BRS TV and doing, I don't know, 1.5, whatever it is per day. Just see how that goes. Just try it.
Depends on your lifestyle, I think. Again, I keep saying it, but for me, it's like if I know I'm doing a water change, then I know the skimmer's getting cleaned, I know the filter mat's getting changed, I know I'm testing everything. Yeah. So it's sort of like if I'm doing it, I'm doing it. If that makes sense. It's one question that I've been asked though, and I'd just be curious if we've got time to ask this question.
I know what you're going to say.
I don't think you do, but it's going to be a bit controversial.
Can I just go through the comments? Can I go through the comments and come back to? Is that okay? I'm miles behind. And then Nicky Boy said, you can silence the temperature controller. The answer is yes, but the problem is I'd forget to then take it off of mute, which would cause me a problem. I wish I could get away without making water changes. So many people overfeed. You can pretty much control your nutrients if you're not overfeeding. Yeah, fair comment.
Yeah, absolutely. And Darren, he's got no fish in his tank, so he doesn't need a water change.
He does it out of
Have you
habit.
not seen my last? Have you not seen my last video? I added nine chromes to my tank, mate.
No, mate, you've never had 9 fish.
Go check it out. Hey, I've got 14 fish in my tank now, mate.
Every time I see a video, you go, "Oh, that one's hiding in the rockwork, and this one's hiding in the rockwork, and this one's hiding in the
Get out
rockwork."
of it.
He's got
Oh,
53
it's made
fish.
up. I've seen it. I know, made up. It's in the rockwork.
At least I've not took my fish in bed, mate. So what about that? You know what I'm saying?
Remember the story?
In bed. You know what I'm saying?
As soon as you walk past, most people walk up to their tank, the fish come to it. Yours hide. I don't know what you're doing to them.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
Jay, watch this. Jay, watch this.
I'm going to do a video tomorrow, mate.
Jay, watch this.
Yeah, watch this, Steve. What? Look.
He's in the moon.
Yeah, look.
Look, mate, that's what should happen. Mate, yours clear off when you go near yours.
My fish do that now.
Yeah, mate, that's because you care about your fish.
I'm gonna. Yes.
It's hard love.
I love this
Hard
guy.
love.
Watch the next video. It's coming out on Sunday. You'll see no fish.
Yeah. Watch the. Hey, you'll see quite a few fish, mate. Watch the.
Only fins.
Only fish.
Only fish.
Trust me, there's fish in here. They're in the
Oh, mate. Oh, I'm loving it. I'm loving this.
You're gonna have plenty of hidey holes.
No, you
don't. It's not in your
really is
tank.
some fish. There really is some fish in here. Just watch.
There really
Watch.
is.
5 hours later.
Next time he's gonna have a minimal escape, so they can't hide from him.
5 hours later, a chromus pops his head out from the styloporter. Yeah, no, truthfully, no, you will see some.
It's funny how you can get tangs to act like blennies and like poke over stuff.
Right, okay. We ain't going to get through these comments. I'm going to move this on. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it, Steve. Like the fish. Wish I'd had a tank like Steve's. Yeah, fair comment.
Yeah, he's got a good tank. No
I
fish.
appreciate that.
Yeah, you're going to need a bigger boat. Bigger boat for this.
Jane.
Yeah,
Why
Jay,
is it
you're
called me
wrong.
Jane? Give up with Jane. Where's that come from?
It's because I said you used to be Jane.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, yeah, you're wrong. Often I'm wrong, mate. So that's the
Jane.
thing.
Jay, you're wrong. I don't know what for, but probably everything.
You're wrong.
Every
What's
tank,
wrong?
there's a sensible comment. Every
Jay.
tank is different.
Yeah.
And you have to find what works best for
Exactly.
you.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very true.
Aquaforest ICP their salt.
See?
Tony
Yeah,
Long will prove it. Low bro bringing into it.
I know. Yeah, I always have to. That's when
Your
you're
size
losing an
is
argument when you've got to go to size, isn't it? Really, Jesus.
Hey, I've not mentioned size yet.
I'm not
to turn their volume down.
Size of your hidey holes.
There you go. I will tell you what the surviving levels are, not the thriving levels. That's a fair point.
Yes.
Yeah,
Tropic,
true,
marine,
true.
pro minerals contain all the trace elements. That's fair enough. Right.
All right. You don't use that though. Steve don't use that one.
What tropic?
No.
He
Oh,
does.
no,
He
no.
does. He does secretly.
No, I've got a box. Well, I've got it for an emergency. It's probably about 2 years
About
old.
a date.
I don't actually know whether salt. I don't know whether salt runs out or what. I don't know whether the sell-by has a sell-by date on it.
Apparently it doesn't go out of date, does it, Salt? Apparently.
It's not been, I don't know.
If it's
I don't
sealed,
know.
I think you're okay.
It's sealed. It's never been opened.
Yeah.
Take it back.
Shattering it in my 7.
I'm shattering my set.
Take it back.
Right now.
Take it back. I do have a bucket of salt for an emergency. God forbid if we ever had an emergency, you know. So you never know. You never know, do you? You know what I mean? And it's always best to have a salt. But in the last 2 years, I bought it because it was on a sale, so I bought it, and that was it, mate. So and it's still there 2 years, and it's still never been opened. So you know what? It's well, you just never know in this hobby. Things can happen quick. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
you know what I mean?
There's a comment there about doesn't dose anything other than All for Reef, because All for Reef, there's quite a few people on this channel use it, and big fan of that. It has all the minor elements as well.
Yeah, sure.
Haley's saying 10% a month is pointless. Scott is saying 10% a month. Swear by it.
Yeah. There's even fight in the chat now. This is getting
that's
tasty
it,
tonight.
Hey, get spicy, spicy.
And then Scott, Scott's flexing his muscles, how big his tank is, and he's SPS dominant as well. He's got an alpha tank.
Apparently, if you've got the bigger tank, you win. That's how it works.
Yeah. My M&Ms are bigger than my Chromis. Right, we're coming.
You're actually right, mate. You're actually probably correct. But remember, things grow, and they'll grow, mate. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
I mean,
they'll grow.
It's not wrong. It has got a ring to it, but I'm not changing my channel name. No. No chance.
Enough of the algorithm.
Exactly. What algorithm?
Okay. I've now got
Go back to Tommy. Had a question. What's your question?
They probably haven't got time
Tom,
now.
go on.
I've just been really curious to know, from a poll point of view, a bit controversial, but Refugium or no Refugium?
Ooh.
Okay, I'll put that in the poll.
I'd just be curious to know what people think.
I'm gonna go against
Jay
that.
Jay wouldn't know because he's not ran a Refugium. Well, I've ran one, yeah, and to be honest, I didn't really see much happening with it. Yeah. But I think it was probably maybe the light that I had. I bought one of those, those crappy UFO lights from Amazon or whatever. Remember them? Do you ever remember them years ago? 3-4 years ago. But the ballast was about that big. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was like it could freaking generate a house or something. It was absolutely massive, the battery on them. And I bought one of them and just to see. And don't get me wrong, it grew a bit in the chamber, but it wasn't like you see some of them and they swirl around and they grow massive. Well, that's just taking the nutrients. But I think maybe my nutrients wasn't as high, you know what I mean, as like the test was saying. To be fair, because it just didn't. I didn't see much of it, but I know a lot of people do use them, do have them, and they have great success with them.
How do you control it though? Like you want it to take your phosphate down, but then as that grows, it's going to take way more phosphate out because it's bigger colony.
You take it, you pull it out, you throw it, you harvest it, you throw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could just put it in a bucket. You'd be fine.
Yeah. LFS stores take it, don't they?
Yeah.
When you harvest it.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really comment. I don't know anything about it.
I've had good and bad over the years with it. If I'm honest with you, I've had good when nutrients have been too high. I've not. But then when I've not harvested enough, I've had bags. It's ripped everything out. But it also takes other, minor trace elements out, iron, etc.
Yeah.
Good for growing. Good for growing. Some of your little marine,
microfauna. Yeah,
microfauna. It's good for that. Yeah, it's good for that. Yeah. But at the same token, I don't know.
Yeah.
So hence the question. Curious to know.
So I had one for about 2 years and it worked for a while. But if you don't keep turning it over and harvesting, then it starts to die off underneath and it just causes problems. And also I found there was light creep as well. So the next change where the skimmer was, so you start getting all slime on the skimmer. So I just think I thought it worked well from a nutrient control, but it increased the maintenance because I'm having to maintain the sump more. Just to keep
the people that obviously pushed this years ago was obviously the Triton method, which was no water change and was a Refugium. And there's been various different,
I used to have the algae reactor as well, which kept it all in. That was the first one I had. And that worked really well because it all stayed within the reactor, so there was no mess. But it wasn't as good because it could only grow so much. But that was in a smaller tank. But you don't see people using them much now. They've gone back to the traditional Refugiums.
Plus, you've got to have
a lot of them
bit of space up, can't it?
Yeah.
But not only that though. A lot of them, I did see they started using those. Remember the old the ALR reactors, the Refugium reactors. Remember them? They had those anywhere they were. The white ones, a lot of people started using them when they had limited space and stuff like that in the tank. A lot of people started using them, and I see loads of people on YouTube because I started watching it, and then I see loads of people having great success with them, filling up the tube and saying, but it was just another piece of machinery, wasn't it? That's linked to the tank, and it's like, all right, granted, you could shove it wherever. I suppose you could put it at the side of your tank, behind your tank.
It could be outside.
But it goes back to what I said a minute ago. Do you need one if you're doing water changes? Maybe not.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very true.
I'll tell you one which will be controversial, yet which people think, do you need a roller filter?
That was mine, Steve. I was going to say that.
Right.
Sorry, Jay. Sorry, mate.
That is
super controversial, I think.
Right, I'm going to end the poll.
Controversial. A lot of people.
Do you use
I like
a
your style, Steve. I like it.
Let's just finish this
one
one
off.
Jay. Finish this one off first. So no. So the answer to Refugium, 56% was no. 44%.
Wow, that's close.
Wow,
yeah,
that's close.
That's close.
I reckon this next one might be even closer.
Right. So what's
this
the
one
poll?
might be closer. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Do you need a roller filter?
That was a good one, Tom. That was.
Thanks.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it's all right. You can have a little star now.
Right. Okay. There's the poll. Let's start the conversation. Steve, do you want to go
a
first?
roller filter. So I'm going to jump in.
Seeing as I went in, Jake. Seeing as I said it, Jake. I'll go for Jake.
Well, that was one of mine. I've got one more left, but that was one of mine because I don't think you do.
Right.
And I think skimmers offer more than a roller filter. I know they do the same job. They're removing nutrients. They're exporting nutrients. I can't see why people have both unless you've got a shed load of nutrients you need to get rid of.
They don't do the same job, though, do they?
Well, yeah, they export nutrients.
Yeah, but if the roller filter
way of doing the same job,
particles,
different way,
and the skimmer takes off stuff that you can't necessarily see.
Yeah, skims. Yeah. But the skimmer aerates the water, whereas a roller filter doesn't, and that aeration is good as well for pH and oxygenation. All that sort of stuff.
I have both on one tank, and I'd have both.
I disagree. I think you're overkill.
Well, I don't run one on this, and the simple reason, and Steve knows the reason behind this, and that's because the missus can't stand the smell of it.
Well, I don't know what it smells like. I don't know what it smells like, but I don't.
And this one where you said it, so like I have never had this issue where Tom's front living room is like double the size of my living room, and he said I said your missus must have the most sensitive nose on earth, mate, because I can't smell anything. I have run a filter roller, and I've always run it. And going on to you, Jay, I would never, ever, have a tank without a roller filter on it, ever, because I hate cleaning filter socks, mate. I hate bleaching them, I hate rinsing them out, I hate doing all of that nonsense. And then you have
the filter to stuff around putting your roll in every time. It's like changing the toilet roll.
Once every 4 months, mate. Once every 4 months in my tank for a roller filter.
And yours failed as well. You had to fail you one.
No.
Yours broke.
I have the gate valve open halfway, mate.
It broke.
I have the gate. Yeah, granted, the motor broke, and Tom very kindly gave me a spare motor, and I fitted it on here, mate, and it's working a treat. And you know what? I would never ever have a tank without one, mate. I would never have a tank without one. I think it's just great. I just love it. I just love my roller filter, mate. Love it. Huh?
You've never been so wrong. You don't need one. The question is, do you need one? You don't need one.
No, you don't. Yeah, you don't need one. You don't need one.
It smells.
You need to filter the water. Right. You need to filter the water.
Yeah.
It's an alternative because if you didn't have all the tanks come with filter socks, don't they?
Yeah.
For the vast majority. Yeah. They are, but not as good as a roller filter.
Every tank does. Every tank does. Even Jay's little tank and your little tank comes with a little tiny micro.
About the size.
25 little micro. All right, then Jay's tank then 25 micron sock or whatever it came with, didn't it, Jay? Yeah. Did it come with a little tiny sock? You know what I'm saying? Did it? Yeah.
It came with the sock.
With it because that's what's needed, mate.
I used the sock.
That's what's needed.
What?
Right. Well, don't. Yeah. Okay then. Okay, fair play. But if you had to change that, if you had a large tank, you had to do it too. You had to change those socks every couple of days and stuff like that, mate. Put fresh ones in, and then you had to bleach it. No. Would you rather do that? Would you rather do that, or would you rather have a roller filter that you didn't need to change the roll every 4 months, mate? I
understand why you need both. Why do you need a roller filter and a skimmer? A skimmer is the one.
They do two different things.
You must have a lot of crop in your tanks, guys. What are they like, bloody Mersey Canal or something? Jesus.
Well, you know what mine is? You've said
So
mine was
fair,
already.
to be
You've
fair,
said it
Jay,
before.
To be fair, Jay, if I could have, I would have in this.
Double
I
up.
would have.
Ah,
Yeah, I had a double bag.
see?
Yeah.
I'll double.
Fair play. Double back.
Double
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I just don't get
Because
it.
for the simple fact,
Is
again,
your skimmer underrated then? Is that what it is? You need to have a bigger skimmer.
no, it just makes it's just going to make life easier in the long run. It's going to mean that you're not going to have to do as many water changes as frequent, and it's going to mean that you don't have to. Pardon?
Less hassle. You can
Yeah,
feed
exactly.
more, less hassle.
Exactly.
Just don't. I mean, I think they look all right, but you don't need what. I prefer. I'm a skimmer man.
Well, I'm
not a roller. I'm a skimmer. That should be the question. Are you a skimmer or a roller?
A roller.
I can only do yes and no.
There we go. There we go.
Find out another way.
There we go. We've got absolutely. There we go. Stu's don't need a roller filter, but after having one, you would never go back, and it's true, mate.
Yeah. I see.
See, a lot of people do. I totally get what you're saying, Jay. Yeah, you don't need one. And Hayley has just said it again. She said it again. All of these things are not what you want. Yeah, and it's true. Okay. And it's true. You know what I mean? But like once you've gone there, mate, and once you've done it, you're 100%. You'll never go back
now.
You know what I mean?
I use floss. Floss is top in it, Tom.
You've still got to stop it. You've got to change it out every 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. You still got to change it.
And Ross used to use floss. He used to use floss as well, and his tank looked nice.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you can fit a roller filter in it.
Well, yeah, you can get them though now for the nanos, but just
they look. I mean, I don't want some of that sticking out the back of the tank.
Yeah, they do look ridiculous. Yeah, you have to turn them manual as well, don't you?
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I know that Red Sea one, that roller filter does look really good. Don't get me wrong, it does look really good.
It's a small one. You have to go in the sun though, doesn't it?
But I just you don't need one. You don't. Keep it simple.
You're never going to smell it if you're breathing diesel for 10 hours a day.
I think Tom must have the only smelly one though, by looks. Everybody else says they don't smell.
Now, let's not get personal.
There we go. My skimmer runs 12 hours on.
12 hours off. I don't use
filter.
That might be where I'm going wrong when she says it smells.
Oh god.
There you go. Grumpy Reefers with Jay.
Yeah. Well, at least there's 2 of us watching it.
Skimmer takes most of the elements out as well.
Well, yeah, so Steve because he ain't got none.
There you go. You do need it if you can't put the filter socks in the washing machine. It's a fair comment.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't. Well, I mean, I haven't filtered. No, you don't need. Wow, I'm surprised at that. Wow. I know it's not ended yet, but that shocked me. I thought there'd be more love for the roller. Way more love.
What we are?
Tom, yours was way closer. Yours was a better poll, really. Yeah, yours was a better poll.
72% was no. 27% was yes.
For a roller filter.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
Wow.
I am shocked as well.
Unfair.
There's a lot of well-educated
viewers.
That's what this does.
I was shocked at that, to be fair.
I am quite shocked. I thought it'd be slightly.
I thought the roller filter would win, if I'm honest.
I thought so, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a gizmo again, and everybody wants a gizmo and a toy.
Yeah, it's a fad. It'll go.
I'm in an hour whether to put this
shell suits
in about this comment, but I couldn't resist it.
Roller filters are like shell suits. Watch out.
Right. Okay. So I've got one. So do you need a UV sterilizer?
That's a good one. Good one. I haven't got one, but I think I'd run one from time to time. Not all the time, because they kill beneficial bacteria and all that good stuff as well. But I think running them, if you had one and you're running them when you've got an issue, a problem like you had, Tom, with your fish, or from time to time, I think you got high nutrients like algae and stuff, then you might run it for a little bit. So I'd say yes, I'd like one, but I wouldn't run it all the time.
I've never used UV before, so I think if I had tangs again in a bigger tank, I probably would put one on there. But
it just seems to have a lot of benefits, doesn't it?
It does, but I mean, I did it on this and I didn't do it straight away because obviously it's a new system, so you don't want to be killing what you're trying to create at the same token in terms of, you know, beneficial bacteria. But I don't think you necessarily need one, if I'm completely honest with you. But I think it's another one of those of if you've got it in your arsenal, if you've got a problem, you can use it, can't you? If it's already plumbed in.
Yeah, it's already there, ready to go.
Because otherwise, you end up going down that. If you end up losing fish or something goes wrong, you end up saying to yourself, you know, shoulda, woulda, coulda sort of scenario. Yeah. So if you've got the opportunity to utilize one, then you've got that to lean on. And if it works, it works, and you know, pays dividends. If it doesn't, then you don't need to use it.
I mean, I don't know why I asked you, Steve, if you've got one, because you've got bloody everything. So I don't know, the pointless question.
Well, you know what? No, I was just listening to every one of what you guys were saying, and that for me, it's a yeah, because not just because I've got one, but because I've never had any fish illnesses in a sense of like, so it must have something to do with it. You know what I mean? Like I know what you're saying, Jake. Yeah. It does kill some beneficial bacteria. Granted, it's proven. You know what I mean? That is a statistic for sure. But you know what? I also think that it kills a lot of the bad, harmful bacteria that can basically latch onto your fish. So, yeah, the pathogens and all that. So, for me, if you can keep your fish healthy and safe, mate, why not run it? That's the way I look at it. So, I run mine 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's been running. And I just change the bulbs every 6 months. That's it. And I do that all the time. And I've always done it. You know what I mean?
This is coming off soon because obviously everybody's happy, and I'm just going to keep an eye on it. But again, for me, the ballasts on these things get so hot. I mean, after the battle I've been having with the temperature with this tank, I thought it was coming from the T5s, and there was actually just as much heat coming from the ballast as there was from the UV than anything else. He got that hot the other day, Steve. I couldn't even touch him. They were that hot, seriously.
Jesus. Wow.
Yeah. But again, circumstance.
Spring is, you know.
You are.
It's like a volcanic spring, your tank, isn't it?
No, but again, circumstances. Three groups of established fish from 3 different systems. You've got the option to run it. Why wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? So, or turn it on and off as and when you want. So, for me, it was better to have it than not. You know, and then if I don't need it, I can turn it off. If I do need it, and if I've got water running through it, it's a lot harder to plumb it in halfway through the build. You know, or at the end of the build. So. That's why it's there. And if, again, like you said, Steve, if there's ever an issue, I can do it. But obviously, I want to run the KZ method on this, you know, the carbon dosing, which I can't run with the UV because it will kill the bacteria I'm trying to grow. So that's just, you know, it's a bit of a byproduct. So it's there for me to use for the fish. And if I have an issue in the future, I can switch it back on again.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Right, we're running out of time, and there's loads of questions here, so I'm going to note all these questions down, and then
we can't end now, Paul. We can't end. We've only got halfway through this.
I've got to go. Well, we can carry this on next week. So if I make a note of all the ones that people are raising,
absolutely,
we can come back to it on Steve.
Yeah, because I've got one that I think me and Steve would agree on as well. I think we've got one that me and.
What, you're actually going to get on tonight and agree with something?
Yeah, I think so. I think
not.
If I say RODI filter, I reckon Steve's going to be with me there, right, Steve? My friend.
Could potentially be with you, mate. Could potentially be with you, my friend.
We'll talk about RO while I'm just making a note of all of the.
You don't have to do that one tonight. I'm just saying that's the one that I think me and Steve might agree on, even though it's controversial.
You've said it there, haven't you?
We'll start with that one. No, what we'll do is we'll start with that one next week. We'll start with that one. I'll jot that down. We'll start with that one next week because that could be a very controversial one. Yeah,
that's controversial.
Yeah,
right.
I'll tell you one thing. What one of them? Yeah, which got there. Yeah, activated carbon. Do we need it?
Oh, I've got that one.
Activated carbon. That's a tricky one. We'll do people think. For me, everybody knows. Yeah. I don't run carbon. I only run carbon as and when I need to. Yeah, I don't believe that you should run carbon all the time in your tank. That's me personally. Yeah, don't see the point. You know what I mean? I only run carbon if I've done fragging or there's something in the system that I might need to just take out. But my tanks run perfectly without running carbon or roll phos for no apparent reason. You know what I mean? Corals look great. You know what I mean? So for me, do you need to run? Do we need it? No. Not necessarily, but that's me.
But how do you know your tank won't look better if you did?
Yeah, he doesn't.
Why? I don't know. Don't know.
I'm just.
But what beneficial? What benefit?
Right,
No, but what benefit if I ran carbon in the tank? What benefit would I get out of it? What would I get out of it?
Watch Coral Euphoria's latest video on mature reef tanks and the benefits of dosing carbon. Watch it.
No, that's carbon.
Has he done that?
Carbon
Has he
dosing.
done
That's
No,
carbon dosing.
That's carbon
Carbon
dosing.
dosing.
That's
Oh,
not
that's
the
the
same.
vodka stuff, isn't it?
Oh, is that totally different? Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was active. No, not active carbon.
No, not active carbon. It's carbon dosing.
Okay. Sorry, forget
Right.
that.
I won't watch that then.
Don't watch that channel.
No, watch it. It's good. I definitely recommend it.
It's a
I'll
good
go
video.
watch
video.
It's
It is
really
good.
good.
It's a very good
I
video.
haven't seen
It's a very
that.
good video.
Oh, I love that guy's channel. His corals are insane, but yeah, I will. I'll pop over there.
Good
Okay,
channel.
so the last poll was: do you need a UV sterilizer? 60% was no. 39% was yes.
Can we add for next
We
week?
seem to be having a lot of no's in this, don't we?
Yeah.
I think the majority of the polls has
Do
been
you
no's on
need
it.
Yeah. Do
Can I add
need
one
it,
for
yeah.
next week as well? Because I don't.
Do you
these
need a
are my
fish
God
tank?
cat hate.
Do you need a fish
Yeah,
tank?
we need a fish tank. Yeah.
Do you need fish? That should be yours, Steve. Jesus.
Yeah.
Do you need fish in a reef
Do
tank?
you actually need fish?
Mine is.
Yeah,
Do you
that's
need?
good. I'll jot that down.
What do you
Do
need?
you need
Fish?
fish?
Can you
I've
put
got a
this one
list,
down,
mate.
Steve?
Yeah.
Do you need frag plugs? Because they do my absolute head. Oh, God, I hate frag plugs.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
worst invention
Exactly,
ever. Hate them. Get that one on
Yeah.
for next week, Steve.
Right, I've got that one.
I will do, mate.
I've got the list,
Yeah,
Steve.
Paul can jot these down. Yeah,
I've got it.
Paul can be the perfect.
I'll be the scribe.
Yeah. How many likes you
Yeah,
had,
you
Paul?
can be, mate. Yeah.
I've got no idea.
You've had 9. That's not very good, is it?
9 likes. Come on, guys.
Oh,
There's
It's your people
24.
in it.
Oh, that's
It's
24. Yeah.
Oh,
Come on.
24.
If you can get some more, that would be good.
Let's
Yeah.
all.
Let's all.
There's 47 watching. There's 47 watching. So really, come on, guys.
So not
Everyone
everybody's
click
got
that
to log
like.
in, have they? That's it.
Doesn't cost you anything. Doesn't cost you anything. Click it.
Yeah.
Click the thumbs up.
Right,
And
let's
then
see
we'll
what
start,
happens.
and then we'll carry this on from next week. For
Part
next week,
2.
part 2. I'll put part 2 down as well. Yeah, we'll put part 2 down.
Yeah.
Live
Right,
from
we're just going
Manchester,
down some
Friday
more
night.
comments, 'cause we've got 3 minutes.
There's
Live
fighting
from
in Manchester.
Manchester, yeah.
They'll be fighting
It is,
next
mate.
Friday
Yeah,
when we're back on here.
the KSI fight's on this week, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you
Who's
wait
gonna
till
win?
we're back on here next Friday. It's going to be right kicking off.
Who are you having, Steve? Who's winning?
Oh, mate, Tommy Fury should knock you out, should I? But I'm not really. I don't like it. I don't. To be honest, yeah. I mean, I used to box. I boxed for like 7 years when I was younger, and like I don't like this crossover boxing business. I just don't like that. You know, like
Crossover.
YouTuber against it.
Oh.
It's like one of us going and fighting a professional
Against the
boxer.
tropical.
Like, what is the point? Yeah,
Yeah.
Tropical Reefer. Let's have a fight, Tropical Reefer. Mate. You know what I mean? Like, come on now, we're not having that. Yeah, it's just not right, mate. It's just that I don't like it. I don't like it.
Salt water, have a dust up.
Yeah, the fresh water and cut. Yeah, have a dust up. Yeah.
I'm not being funny, but you
Do
lot are 6'5", so they don't. I hope they've got some big lads on the other side.
Oh dear.
Right, I'm going to
Yeah.
go through
Anyway,
some
before
more
we get
comments.
some haters, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Right, okay, there's some more comments. I love the diversity of this hobby. We all run our tanks in a way that works for us and suits us. High five to the reef geeks. Absolutely.
Yes. What a great summary that was. Nice.
Yeah.
Right.
High five.
Absolutely.
That's like, yeah, nice little reflection at the end. That was good.
Comments there. Activated carbon as and when needed. So there's a real mixed view on carbon as well. Don't usually run it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah, fair play from Scott there. Yeah.
Put some money in the meter.
All this carbon is bad for the planet.
Absolutely.
Phos in a reactor, dosate all for reef use, aqua power, feed 3 times a week, and don't do water changes. I'm a lazy reefer.
Absolutely.
Feed 3
That's what you need
times.
to be.
Feed 3 times a day. Carbon
Yeah, he's got happy fish there. Well, happy fish.
Drippy saying, come on in.
Come on then, Steve.
Oh, I got another one for next week. Just make a note of.
Yeah, they're coming thick and fast.
They are.
Absolutely.
What's going on here?
What do you not need?
Right, I think we are there.
Well, I've enjoyed myself tonight. It's been
Reef
good.
the sequel.
And
Absolutely, mate.
to attend you.
Absolutely.
Steve's pretty boy.
What's that, mate?
It's nice of you to attend.
I know, yeah. It's nice
This
to
is
be.
what happens when they do.
It's nice to just,
Absolutely, mate.
start the weekend with a bit of reefing chat. I love it.
Absolutely. I'm going to end on this comment again because I think that kind of sums it up. I know we've had it once a couple of seconds ago, but I think that's
totally agree.
Comment.
Totally agree.
Right, so we're on. Thank you, chaps, for joining us this week. It's good to have all four of us on there, and thank you for everyone. There's been loads of great comments, some really good contributions in the poll as well. So it's been quite lively, which is the whole point. Next week we're over on Steve's channel, where hopefully it will be. I'm sure it'll be lively as well. Although Steve's got to argue, read the comments, and put it on the screen. Not sure
exactly. Could be a bit,
and don't forget the
giveaway. Could be a bit of a mess up.
I think
don't be wishing out.
Your head off to charity. What do you reckon?
We're giving a free tank away next week. Jay's
getting
a new tank.
Right, guys. On that note, thank you for joining. We'll see you next week. Over
Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Channel.